Well, holy shooty diggity dang.
An energetic start. Are we discussing firearms regulations again?
No, it's literature. Apparently, that's how some people react to books now. Forget 5 stars, it's all about the holy shooty diggity dang scale. Which brings us, I suppose, to the reason we're here, filling the airwaves with our particular brand of insight.
Right. We are here to discuss a book, specifically Broken Country by Clare Leslie Hall. The information I have suggests it's set in a small English farming village, moving between 1955 and 1968. It involves a woman named Beth, her farmer husband Frank, and the return of her first love, Gabriel Wolfe.
Oh, Gabriel Wolfe. Sounds like a character who irons his turtlenecks, and Beth torn between the sturdy farmer and the turtleneck aficionado. Classic setup. But wait, there's more. Reviewers mention a murder, a trial, secrets, grief. It's like a soap opera directed by a particularly gloomy sheep.
The narrative does build towards a murder and trial. Yes, themes of grief, particularly concerning the loss of Beth and Frank's son, Bobby, are noted as central. Reviewers describe it as atmospheric, emotionally charged, a blend of family drama, love story, mystery, and historical setting.
Blend. It sounds like they threw every genre into a blender and hit pulverize. 1 minute it's The Notebook, the next it's presumed innocent, but with more manure. And the biggest blend, the real chunky bit everyone's choking on, seems to be this love triangle specifically. Beth getting cozy with Gabriel while still married to Frank.
Indeed. That appears to be the most prominent point of division among reviewers. The infidelity aspect. Some found the writing elevated the trope. Quoting one, "I am not a fan of love triangles, but the writing and characterization elevate it far above books with similar themes."
Elevate it, they're talking about cheating. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still going to oink when you try to take it to the opera. Others were less elevated. One apparently said, and I quote, "I can't believe that I'm supposed to feel for the main character who's cheating on her husband." Another just threw up their hands, DNFA. "You all been around long enough to know I don't do cheating. Thumbs down and everything." Very definitive.
The reactions are certainly polarized. This division extends to the characters themselves. Beth, the central figure, is described alternately as relatable and complex, or
don't leave us hanging, or what? A sentient chia pet with commitment issues.
Or, according to some reviewers, infuriating, selfish, hurtful, and someone they were side-eyeing left and right. One stated plainly, "I didn't like Beth, the main character, at all."
Side-eyeing. See, that's engagement. You don't side-eye wallpaper. You side-eye someone nicking the last biscuit or, apparently, juggling 2 fellas in the pastoral English countryside. It means she's interesting. Maybe she's like one of those fancy weather vanes. Looks pretty spinning around points wherever the wind blows. But ultimately just sits on a roof causing trouble for pigeons.
An interesting analogy. Meanwhile, her husband Frank seems almost universally admired. Reviewers called him kind, gentle, dependable, steadfast, a gem, the best book character. One noted he adored her, loved her since he was 13.
Frank. Bless his cotton socks and probably his woolly jumpers too, being a sheep farmer. Frank had my whole heart this whole book, one reviewer gushed. Hot damn, people have book crushes on this Frank. He sounds like a golden retriever in human form. But wait, even Saint Frank wasn't immune. One reviewer called him a doormat. Can you believe it? Too nice. Apparently his reactions were unrealistic, too calm.
There was some commentary suggesting his reactions might seem overly passive or naive to certain readers. Yes. No way anyone would be as complacent and calm, one noted. It highlights the subjectivity of character perception.
Subjectivity, or maybe Frank was just playing the long game, the really long game. Okay, listeners, quick poll, this Frank character, based on what reviewers are saying, saintly sacrificer or secretly simmering volcano of resentment disguised as a nice cup of tea? Let us know. Someone thinks he's plotting to replace all the sheep with llamas. Much more dramatic.
Moving on from hypothetical llama conspiracies, the reviewers themselves provided some memorable commentary. There were direct contradictions. For instance, regarding the ending, everything is ultimately explained in a double shocking ending. Versus, I personally didn't find it to be as shocking. The reveal was on my guess list.
Predictable and shocking. This book contains multitudes. Like that reviewer who called the author a word witch supreme. I bet she flies around on a thesaurus, sprinkling adverbs like glitter, or the person who admitted reading the last 20 pages in a cinema on their phone. Yes, I annoyed a few people with my phone's light, but I couldn't let it go. Dedication? Or maybe just poor planning.
The commitment some readers showed was notable. Staying up past 4 a.m., reading for 6 hours straight, finishing in one evening, and the emotional reactions.
Oh, the emotions. Don't get me started. People weren't just reading, they were experiencing. Sobbed so many times, cried at the end, yelling at my Kindle, jaw on the floor, gasped out loud, ripped to shreds, gutted me. One poor soul was crying so hard my husband had to ask if I was okay. Another just posted sobbing hysterically. I'll be back with a review when I can find the words multiple crying sounds implied. It sounds less like reading a book and more like surviving an emotional apocalypse.
The ending sequence, involving the trial and final revelations, seems to be the primary catalyst for these intense responses. Reviewers used terms like jaw-dropping, unbelievable revelations, and compared the shock value, rather dramatically to, well, one specific film scene.
Which one, don't be shy? Was it the pottery scene from Ghost? The twist in The Sixth Sense?
The comparison cited was to the What's in the Box scene from C7.
What's in the box? In a book about sheep farmers and affairs. Was it Frank's missing prize winning you, Gabriel's collection of ironically detached literary critiques, a lifetime supply of existential dread? The possibilities are endless and deeply unsettling.
The reviewer was likely emphasizing the level of shock experienced, not the literal contents. It speaks to the impact of the plot twists. Though, it should be noted, some found these twists predictable.
Predictable. Schmedictable. It clearly worked for the person who screamed. They screamed. When the big revelation scene hit, even though I was expecting it, I screamed. It still shook me to my core. You don't scream at predictable. You maybe sigh loudly. This sounds like full-throated neighbor, worrying, screaming.
Amidst the screaming and sobbing, reviewers did consistently praise certain aspects. The writing style was frequently described as beautiful, exquisite, stunning, flawless, even poetic.
Poetic, like a sonnet about shearing sheep, perhaps, or an ode to infidelity. Shall I compare thee to my husband's farmhand? Look, I believe them. You don't get people yelling holy shooty diggity dang. Over clumsy prose. One reviewer even said the author wields language like a blade, sharp, precise, and devastatingly effective. Sounds pointy.
The atmospheric setting of the English countryside was also highlighted, and the dual timeline structure was often called seamless and effective.
Seamless, unlike Beth's life choices apparently. Got an email here from Torn Between N2 Farmer 68. They write, Dear Heartbook Radio, someone is onto something with Frank. He's too good. My theory. Frank knew about the affair the whole time and was subtly manipulating everyone using only his kindness and perfectly brewed tea. The murder. All part of Frank's master plan to inherit the best sheepdog. 5 stars for Frank's quiet menace.
That sounds speculative. While some reviewers questioned Frank's passivity, the overwhelming sentiment was admiration for his kindness and integrity. The email seems to be projecting a rather different narrative.
Projection is just another word for creative interpretation. Speaking of interpretation, we should probably mention the heavier stuff reviewers flagged. This isn't all pastoral picnics and longing glances.
Correct. Reviewers noted the presence of difficult themes. The central theme of infidelity is obviously a major point of contention. There's also a significant focus on grief, specifically related to the accidental death of Beth and Frank's child, Bobby, which reviewers found heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. The kind of stuff that makes you want to hug a pillow and eat biscuits. What else is in this emotional minefield?
There's an intense scene early on involving animal harm, a dog being shot, which reviewers called difficult. Murder is central to the plot, obviously, and alcoholism is mentioned regarding Frank's brother, Jimmy. Reviewers warned about heavy themes, and the strong emotional reactions suggest it can be distressing.
So, basically, pack tissues may be a helmet, and don't read it if you're particularly fond of dogs or emotional stability. Got it. It's a wonder anyone survived reading it, one reviewer said. Now, I wander the earth, haunted. Every book I pick up feels like a rebound relationship, doomed to fail because Broken Country still owns my soul. Dramatic.
The emotional investment appears significant for many readers. Which brings us, perhaps, to a final assessment. The evidence suggests extreme polarization, praised writing and atmosphere, a deeply divisive central character and affair, debated ending twists, and questions about pacing. Some found it propulsive, others repetitious or like Cliff's notes.
Cliff's notes of emotional devastation, maybe. So, the final verdict. Do we recommend this roller coaster of rural heartbreak? For me, it's got to be rated on the official Heart Book Radio scale, tailored just for this emotional whirlwind. I give Broken Country, let's see, 3 holy shooty diggity dangs for sheer reviewer shock, plus 2 full-throated screams at the Kindle, but -1 Frank is a doormat accusation because the man deserves better, even if he is fictional.
Unique metric. Ultimately, the reviews indicate this book evokes powerful, conflicting responses. It seems to explore complex emotions and difficult choices in a way that deeply affects readers, for better or worse.
Exactly. It's clearly not boring, eh? If you like your love stories messy, your characters questionable, and your endings potentially requiring therapy, or at least a strong cup of tea, this might be for you. You probably need to read Broken Country yourself to figure out if you're Team Frank, Team Gabriel, Team Beth needs to make better choices, or Team just here for the sheep drama. Link in the description if you dare step into this emotional minefield.
A fair, if characteristically dramatic, summary.
Next week, we tackle that cookbook written entirely in emojis. Should be expressive. Until then, keep your hearts full and your bookshelves chaotic. For Heart Book Radio.
And for Heart Book Radio.
Signing off, go read something that makes you yell.